I think Japan's just a really unique destination to travel to. Everything is slightly different than we do here. Everything is slightly quirkier than we do here. You've got all the culture and the ancient history, but you've also got this ultra-modern metropolises, and just whizzing between the two of them by bullet train without any effort at all just brings together the most remarkably varied trips. It's just a wonderful, wonderful place to travel to that thrills everyone that visits, really.
There are, certain places that you just don't want to miss, Tokyo and Kyoto. There's also Hakone, the national park near to Mount Fuji. There's some great areas where you can get, just a little bit further afield, up in the Japanese Alps, places like Kanazawa with its famous Japanese gardens, Yudanaka where you've got the snow monkeys. And then if you're interested in some of the more sort of recent history, coming down to Hiroshima. If you're coming back to Japan for a second time visit, you can get a little bit more off the beaten track. A real sort of highlight for me is a place called Yakushima, which is a small island just off the south coast. Offers something completely different. You can pick up a car and drive around for a few days and go wandering through these amazing forests and waterfalls.
Best experience I had in Japan, it sounds really humble actually, the tea ceremony I had in Kyoto. Lovely small Makia townhouse with this wonderful Japanese garden in the centre of the house. Learning about the history of it, it was just remarkable, and every little bit of technique that the tea master put into the ceremony just had resonance and meaning, and 2.5 hours later we were just bedazzled and just couldn't stop talking about it.
Best experience I've had in Japan was some self-guided walking along the Kumano-Kodo Trail, as well as the walking through some forest areas. There's amazing views, and sort of really actually get to see the coastline of Japan, which you don't often get to see.
Who will suit a holiday to Japan? It really does work for a lot of people. Honeymooners who don't just want to sit by the pool all day will love it because there's food and there's drink to explore, there's beautiful scenery to explore. Families will love it because there's museums, there's Studio Ghibli that the kids all love, and it's just the neons and the lights, it's so energetic, and everyone loves the bullet trains, they're so much fun. Older couples who just want a sort of real bucket list trip, fantastic, take a slow pace to the trip. There's something there for everyone. Japan has really many best times to go. It just depends on what you want to experience. Obviously, the cherry blossom season is very popular, it's very beautiful when all of the trees bloom in this beautiful pink, and that comes around March, April time. It's very busy though at that sort of time of year, so if you want less crowds, it's better to go a little bit later. Fall season, November time, late October, again, wonderful, all the reds and oranges of the trees. For me, some of the best times to go is probably around late May, early June, end of the cherry blossom season, warming weather before the heat of the summer starts.
In terms of getting around Japan, primarily when you're there, you're going to be using the bullet trains. I think there's a bit of a sort of preconception that it might be sort of quite tricky to get around the trains. In actual fact, when you get to the train stations, all of your signs are in English, so you'll have your train name and train number, and that will give you your platform number. Even down to the level of detail of when you get on the platform, it will tell you where your carriage number is, so it's really, really easy to get on and off these trains.
Why travel to Japan with Imagine? We've obviously got the knowledge, been there ourselves, so we know what we're talking about and we know how to plan excellent trips. Japan is not a cheap country to visit. What we do is enable great value for money with our trips. We design very, very bespoke, almost self-guided trips for our guests. You have guiding and you have an experience where you need it, but you don't need it all the time. So what we do is we work very, very hard to understand where we need a bit more interaction with our guests on the ground, and we know when to trust our guests to make their way from A to B.